trust that protocol has been established, and so I start by stating that I am honored and humbled to address this distinguished audience in what we term building integrity to build a nation, and expressing what that means to me. In the words of Roy T. Bennett, I quote, "Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's watching and doing as you say you would do." When I first heard this quote, it resonated deeply within me. Several years ago, while still teaching, I stumbled across and adopted a 4-rule principle called RICE, and I've been able to implement it in all aspects of my life to date. The acronym RICE, coined by educator Dr. Rita Stein in her book, Connecting Character to Conduct, stands for respect, impulse control, compassion, and equity, and is deeply rooted in doing the right thing at the right time and for the right reasons. Its premise is based on everything we say or do reflecting who we are, who we say we are. So integrity starts with me. Integrity starts with you. Integrity starts with everyone. These rules that I have outlined, I didn't go through the whole thing, but the R, the I, the C, and the E, enhance classroom management by helping children connect their actions and behavior to their character, which they're still building. The goal was to build character in our youth. And I dare say to this esteemed audience that these very simple rules can be used to build the character of a nation. Integrity is the cornerstone of strong nations. It speaks to our character and is a virtue that resonates within individuals' hearts and minds, reverberating through society. In today's interconnected world, character and ethics cannot be overemphasized as they unlock progress, prosperity, and sustainable development, which we are on the track to achieve. Integrity, at its core, embodies honesty, transparency, and ethical conduct. It requires us to act responsibly in all our endeavors. As leaders, it is our responsibility to instill these principles in our institutions. We must cultivate an integrity culture that permeates every corner of our society. Building integrity begins with fostering collective responsibility. We must engage citizens, civil society organizations, businesses, and government institutions in a collaborative effort to promote integrity as a shared value. By doing so, we lay the foundation for a nation that thrives on trust, fairness, and justice. A nation built on integrity is one where corruption finds no fertile ground. Corruption erodes society's essence, diverting resources from their intended purpose, hindering progress, and perpetrating inequality. To combat this menace, we must adopt a zero-tolerance approach to corruption, implementing robust yet equitable legal frameworks, strengthening oversight mechanisms, and promoting a culture of accountability. We must ensure that those who engage in corrupt practices face the consequences of such, regardless of their status or influence, something we have been known to do. We, as leaders in this community and leaders in our individual homes, must lead by example. Education plays a pivotal role in nurturing integrity. We must invest in comprehensive educational programs that teach honesty, integrity, and ethical governance from an early age. Hence, my reference to RICE, a classroom management tool. By empowering our youth, with knowledge and skills needed to make principled decisions, we equip them to become integrity torchbearers now and in the future. We build character. These programs cannot and must not be limited to our youth. As lifelong learners, we adults must ensure that these programs are taught to our peers as well. We must continually assess our actions, assess, review, and adjust when necessary to effectively lead by example. Such awareness and educational programs must permeate our families, our communities, our churches, our CSOs, NGOs, businesses, and, as I mentioned earlier, all governmental entities, all aspects of our society. Furthermore, we must embrace technological advancements as allies in our pursuit of a society based on honesty, trust, and equity. The digital age presents both opportunities and challenges. We must harness technology to promote transparency, streamline public services, and create platforms for citizen engagement. However, we must also be mindful of the risks associated with emerging technologies, such as cybercrime and data breaches. By implementing robust cybersecurity measures and enforcing data protection regulations, we can safeguard our digital systems while promoting integrity. As a SIDS, small island developing state, we face unique challenges in building a strong nation. Limited resources, vulnerability to external influences, and geographical constraints demand innovative solutions. It is essential to forge regional partnerships, sharing best practices, knowledge, and experiences to strengthen our collective integrity framework. Together, we can amplify our impact and overcome hurdles, yes, even in this region. The path to building integrity is not an easy one, but it is a path we must tread if we are to forge a prosperous and sustainable future for our nation. It requires unwavering commitment, strong leadership, and a collective effort. A collective effort to embrace the era of integrity and equity for all as we break the chains of inequality. Who are we? Who do we say we are? What do our children see vis-a-vis what they hear us say? Let us work together to build character and build a nation, one individual at a time, and watch it grow. Together, this will be a testament to inspire integrity's transformative power to the world. I hope that our collective efforts will result in fruitful and successful results in building citizens of good character, whose integrity is never questioned. Trust me, I've had to deal with the challenges about past leaders. Let us be the pioneers of a new era of integrity and lead the way towards a better future. We must not forget that the road to success is long and difficult, but trust me, it is worth the effort. A just society is one in which each person can develop, grow, and thrive. Allow me to reiterate a statement I made a bit earlier. In today's interconnected world, character and ethics cannot be overemphasized, as they unlock progress, prosperity, and sustainable development. As Prime Minister of St. Martin, this is my goal: to lead a nation of citizens who respect themselves and others, to lead and will do the right thing at the right time for the right reasons, ensuring each person is treated equitably, is treated fairly, and has opportunities for optimal growth and development, and be able to achieve their dreams. Together we can, Together we must. Welcome.
It is with great pleasure and utmost honor that we gather here today for the first symposium of the Integrity Chamber of St. Maarten. I would first like to express our heartfelt gratitude to the Prime Minister for delivering her thought-provoking opening address. Your insightful words have, I'm sure, set the stage for engaging discussions today on the crucial topic of integrity. And second, I would like to thank the Prime Minister for her unwavering support for the Integrity Chamber from the very beginning of her tenure, almost 4 years ago. And I am delighted to see a remarkable turnout today with distinguished individuals from various fields in the public sector, and I am thankful that you are gracing us with your presence. I know you all have busy schedules, and it's your attendance that serves as a statement to the recognition and value our society places on the subject of integrity. For this inaugural symposium, we chose the theme Building Integrity to Build a Nation. This theme inevitably prompts the question as to what kind of society we aspire to live in. St. Maarten is a constitutional democracy, and the concept of a democratic constitutional state explicitly incorporates the element of integrity as a necessary quality requirement. It therefore follows that a government cannot lay claim to constitutional legitimacy without also adhering to principles of integrity. It is evident that a government that lacks integrity cannot sustain the rule of law. The former Minister of Home Affairs in the Netherlands, Indales, she stated over 30 years ago, and I quote, "A little bit of integrity is not possible," unquote. A sentiment that is relevant still today. And of course, we all recognize that issues pertaining to integrity are seldom straightforward, with various shades of grey necessitating open discussion and consideration. Nevertheless, it remains vital that we engage in these discussions and openly address questions of integrity in our society. To be sure, as you may rightly observe, this is easier said than done. However, I concur with this sentiment only in part, and I will elaborate on this point. We firmly believe that integrity is the cornerstone of good governance and that it is essential to building public trust, fostering economic growth, and promoting social justice. If integrity is deemed a necessary quality requirement for a state that upholds the democratic rule of law, it is essential to address the threats and remedies associated with maintaining it. To begin with, the following 6 phenomena are widely recognized as threats to integrity in government and public administration: corruption, nepotism, conflict of interest, lack of transparency, political interference, and inadequate oversight. These threats to integrity can erode public trust in government and undermine the effectiveness of public administration. Therefore, it is essential to have strong safeguards in place to prevent and address these risks. And to address these threats to integrity, several measures or remedies are necessary. First, strong ethical standards. Public officials should be held accountable to high ethical standards and be required to adhere to a code of conduct that emphasizes transparency, honesty, and accountability. Secondly, robust anti-corruption measures should be in place, such as clear regulations on gifts and donations, rigorous enforcement of anti-corruption laws, and the establishment of an independent anti-corruption agency. Furthermore, effective oversight and monitoring mechanisms are crucial to ensuring public officials' accountability, including audits, investigations, and performance evaluations. A transparent decision-making process is crucial. Decision-making processes should be transparent and open to public scrutiny to ensure that the general principles of good governance are upheld and that there is no room for favoritism. Additionally, public participation in decision-making processes can increase transparency and accountability. And finally, I would like to stress the importance of training and education programs. Public officials should receive ongoing training and education to raise awareness about the importance of integrity in order to help them identify and avoid situations that could lead to conflicts of interest or unacceptable behavior. Ultimately, building trust is key. Public trust in government is critical to uphold the democratic rule of law and the general principles of good governance. As I said earlier, I am a firm believer that integrity is the cornerstone of good governance and that it is essential to building public trust, fostering economic growth, and promoting social justice. And having all said this, what does all this require for our politicians, board members, and civil servants? It goes without saying that in the performance of their duties, they must comply with the law, fundamental rights, written and unwritten rules. And in addition, I name two. One is moral responsibility. Our politicians, board members, and civil servants must uphold a strong moral compass, guided by ethical principles that prioritize transparency, honesty, and accountability. And two, they must set an example for others to follow, as they play a crucial role in shaping the culture of integrity within their organizations, recognizing their role as leaders in promoting integrity and upholding the rule of law. All for the best interest of the public, het algemeen belang. And everyone present here is destined for this leadership. You all play an extremely important role for Sint Maarten to serve the interest of the public. And have you ever asked yourselves what you need to properly fulfill that role? Resources, support, access to information, autonomy is only half the story. Crucial is a safe, professional environment, organizational integrity, an organization that has its integrity structure in order. The following are some of the key elements of an organizational integrity structure that we believe helps to promote and stimulate ethical behavior, ensuring that politicians and civil servants act in the best interest of the public. 1. A code of conduct should be in place. A code of conduct that outlines expected standards of behavior and conduct for politicians and civil servants. The code should cover topics such as conflict of interest, impartiality, confidentiality, accountability, use of public resources, and compliance with laws and regulations. 2. Training and development. Training on ethics and integrity should be provided to all politicians and civil servants to ensure they understand the code of conduct and how to apply it in their work. 3. Internal controls should be in place to prevent and detect ethical violations such as fraud and unacceptable behavior, and to ensure that politicians and civil servants are complying with the code of conduct and ethical standards. 4. Persons of trust. Every organization should have procedures in place to report unethical behavior in a safe and trusted manner for both the person of trust as well as the one reporting an issue. This can encourage individuals to come forward with information and ensure that wrongdoing is addressed.
Greetings from your friends in the Southern Caribbean and from our chair at Transparency International, Brilliant, Dr. Delia Ferrer-Rubio. It is very encouraging Very encouraging, and it speaks volumes for St. Martin that both your Governor General and your Prime Minister are seated here with us today in our very own chamber, I have to say, to discuss the fundamental matter of building integrity, to build with integrity. Well done again. Let me start by sharing a little of Transparency International with you in the event some of you may not know of it. That is doubtful. Oh, okay. Thank you. Transparency International is the global coalition working against corruption in over 100 countries. We try to prevent the spread of corruption, minimize and eliminate the effects of corruption by our advocacy, our activism, and so on. It's much like St. Martin. There are a number of chapters all over the world under one parent entity in Berlin. Our mission is to stop corruption and promote transparency, accountability, and importantly, integrity at all levels. And I want you to remember our vision. Cast your eyes as far as it can go. A world in which government, politics, business, civil society, and the daily lives of people are free of corruption. From what I've heard this afternoon so far, just from two speakers alone, that certainly is the intention of St. Martin as well. On this slide, it defines corruption, which you all know as well. The abuse of entrusted power for private gain. And this includes, as I've spelled out here, public servants demanding what we call bribes, politicians misusing public money for awarding jobs and contracts, and companies offering bribes for contracts. We'll spend a moment or so on one important thing here, the word trust. A very important word which in the world of governance and in the world of law has a specific meaning. There are certain legal underpinnings and connotations to the word trust. So when we speak of the abuse of entrusted power, we have certain things in mind. Very simply put for the non-legal minds in our audience, a trust is created when an asset is vested, is held by someone called a trustee for the benefit of someone, some person, not himself, not herself, but for the benefit of others. It's not your own. It's simply in your hands to take care in the interest of others. All public officials, government officials, civil servants, and so on are trustees in that respect. We need to recognize that. We hold the assets of the state, of the citizenry, in our hands. It's not ours, it's for the benefit of others. The citizens of this country, of your country, of ours as well. The actions of a few who hold power impact the lives of many. I want to repeat that. The actions of a few who hold power impact the lives of many. And we would do well, those of us who hold the reins of power, to spend time and thought on those words when we are sitting in our offices, well-appointed offices, and there are matters before us to deliberate on. I want you to notice as well, as I mentioned to you, how TI's vision transcends from government to the daily lives of people, the common folk, as we see. It starts from the top, it goes to those who support the entire system. That is above it. What does integrity have to do with all of this? We've heard a lot so far about what integrity is about some very, very outstanding and important definitions and words. I like one from a lady called Oprah Winfrey. I'm sure you heard of her. I've heard this quotation attributed to several other persons, but I'll stay with Oprah, right? And Oprah said, integrity is doing the right thing, especially when no one is watching. And for those of you who are in public offices in particular, when you sit behind your desk late at night or on your own during the day, and there's an important matter of significant cost and so before you, it is important, it is really, really important for you to bear this in mind. Because the influences, if you don't know, can be very, very significant. What do you do? What do you do? We speak of doing the right thing. And what is that right thing? It seems when we are entrusted with power, we need a range of preventative measures around us to protect us from guess who? Ourselves. Right? So that's Delia, our chair, speaking to that range of preventative measures recently in a speech at UNGAS. Now, I have fond memories of St. Martin personally. It was almost 10 years ago. I was right here in this beautiful island, believe it or not, with a team of personnel from TI, Transparency International, from Berlin, to conduct a National Integrity System Assessment, the NIS as we call it. This final report was published in July 2015, but was conducted around 2014 and so on.